there's some youngins every now and then in the audience, and it's like, are you telling a story about an answering machine? What's that? I use my iPhone. Anyway, you remember how much angst there was when you were trying to decide how to do your outgoing message? I mean, just hours and hours and hours of messing it up. There was always one guy, right, who would do this, the silly message where you'd call up, and then this answering machine would pick up, and his voice would go, hello, 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 speak up, I can't hear you. Hello, there's something wrong on your end, can you please speak up, shout? And then he starts laughing, and it goes, say, okay, thank you very, very much. This machine was my co-writer for one of the most popular songs that I've written. It's a song called Roundball Rock. And the way this worked out was, back in the late 1980s, I was working for CBS Sports, announcing and doing music for them. And I heard that NBC wanted a new theme for the NBA basketball on NBC. And so they sort of put it out to everybody, and they said, just send us in a demo tape, and we'll pick the best one. We're not gonna hire anybody outright to do it. We're just gonna pick the best theme that you can come up with. And I heard about this through the grapevine, because I was in the sports world. I thought, boy, if I could just get something like this, a theme like this, then I would probably be recognized as a serious musician. So I'm trying to think, here I am in France covering the Tour de France. I'm thinking, what would this sound like? And I woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning on a Thursday in Megève, France, and I had a theme in my head. And I realized that if I didn't get it out of my head, if I just went back to sleep, you know this feeling, you have an idea in the middle of a night, and if you don't somehow get it out, it's like, oh, I got an idea, it's an electric car, Tesla. That's how that was created. So what happened was I had this theme in my head, didn't have a keyboard, didn't have a tape machine to record it on, and so I did what you would do, is I called my answering machine back in New York, and I left a message for myself. So I called my answering machine, and my voice came on. Said, hey, this is John, there's nobody home right now, leave a message at the sound of the tone. I'm like, hey John, this is John. It's big friendly. Here's the NBA basketball theme. So I sang the theme that I had in my head into the phone. It cut me off. So I called back, skipped the pleasantries, right to the here's the rest of the song. Woke up next morning, and sure enough, I couldn't remember anything that I had left, but I knew it was waiting for me back home, and I had to work for another 2 weeks. Finally got home in New York, and I ran to the answering machine to check all my messages. I had two. I took the machine, put it on the piano, and played the first message. Figure it out on the piano. Fast forward, second one. Wow, I think we've got something here. So I call up, wouldn't you? I call up Tim and I say, Tim, get the band together. We got to play this thing because I think this might be the sports theme. So we get the band together, the band plays it. We say, we need strings. We need a little bit of an orchestra. So we got a 15-piece orchestra, had them play it. And I was like, oh man, this thing sounds great, but there's something missing. And so I got a Betamax tape. I made a Betamax tape of Michael Jordan and the Lakers and the Celtics, right? Playing against each other. I watched the fast breaks, the most exciting part of the game. And I matched the tempo. I realized it was like 10 beats faster than disco, because disco's like this, love to love you, baby. This like this, right? And then 131 beats per minute is what the basketball is dribbling when they're having a fast break up and down the court. So I set the tempo for that, and then I took the music that we had made, I put it on the VHS tape, so there was already there was footage on there of basketball, and I mailed it to Dick Ebersol, the president of NBC Sports, so he could see it fully formed, right? And so in a week, he called me up, he goes, hey John, did you write this basketball theme with all the footage on and everything? Is that yours? And I said, yes, sir. And he goes, well, this will work. Let's play it for 25 years and put 2 of your kids through college. I said, okay, Dick. What happens with, it's like with kids, you work on them, you send them out into the world, and, some of them are amazing, some of them are duds. It's like that with music, too. You never know what's going to happen. You write some big piece, and it's like, I don't like this thing. But this song, it caught on, even beyond the coverage, especially when YouTube became popular, and people would learn the song, and then they would play it on YouTube. People even teaching it on YouTube and playing it better than me. You have to see some of these things. This is my dad, and this is from, sorry, I just lost my earpiece. My dad was in World War II on an amphibious assault craft off the coast of Okinawa, and his job on the USS Panamint in World War II was to call in the artillery fire from the ship to knock out the Japanese Zeros and kamikaze pilots who were trying to kill him and everybody in his fleet. And so, yeah, he had a rough job, and just like everybody else in the Greatest Generation, and many of them, and you may have this experience in your family, when he came back from the war, and then after I was born, we always wanted him to, I wanted to do like a report on him in school and stuff, and wanted him to talk about him, and he just wouldn't talk about it. It was so brutal that so many men and women in World War II did not want to have a conversation about it. My dad passed away young. He was 64 years old, And when we were going through his things years ago, we discovered his diary. He kept a diary, and the diary was, the first entry was on the day he enlisted in North Carolina, and then it continued until the Japanese surrendered. It was a day-by-day diary of everything he was doing, and love letters in the middle of it to my mom. And so I've got this this diary. I cherish it. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to share some of it with you, and then play one of his favorite songs. So, in my dad's diary, June 15th, 1944. This date is the date of my enlistment into the Navy at 1900 hours. I was on a train headed for Camp Peary. It was my first day as a sailor, and I miss you, my love, more than you can know. I can only imagine what lies ahead, and I ask God to guide me along every path I may have to travel and bring me back to you and our little girls. April 4th, 1945, Okinawa. Things broke loose last night around 2300. The raids continued all through the night and were pouring in from every direction. I was in my GQ position on the fire control bridge, and a Japanese Zero was heading right for us 600 yards off the bow. I was sure it was another suicide attack, and I knew I was done for, until one of our gunners got him and sent him into the Pacific. Another kamikaze made a suicide dive into the Tennessee, and they lost 100 men. August 15th, 1945, I awoke this morning to the sound of screaming and bolted from my bunk to answer what I thought was general quarters. I soon realized the screams were cheers. A broadcast had just come through that the Japanese have surrendered. My dearest wife, my love, this is the happiest day of my life. I'm coming home. It's a miracle. I'm coming home. So this was my dad's favorite song when he was overseas, and it's still a favorite of veterans everywhere. Please enjoy In the Mood.